ونصلي على رسول الكريم أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي ربنا أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه آمين يا رب العالمين. جزاكم الله khair for being here again second time. It's lovely seeing you. Before I begin, however, I want to carry on with what Noman mentioned. A very important person passed away on April 14th, Dr. Isar Ahmed, as you now know. He is very important because he made a very great impact in my life, as probably he has made on yours. If you have listened to him, what was really interesting was that at 3 o'clock, this is the manner where Allah took him, this is the situation. At 3 a.m. they say that he was in his study room doing research. Imagine, 86 years old. 86 years old. He's doing his research, and the servant came, and he slept between 3 and he did not wake up for Fajr. Now the servant came to wake him up because this is very unusual that he wouldn't wake up for Fajr, and of course he did not move. And the servant called the son. The son came, who's a doctor, I believe, and they checked and they believed that he had expired somewhere around 3 a.m. to 3:30 a.m. Now what's really interesting about this whole the whole incident, as tragic as it is that here is a person who was born in 1932. He came to Pakistan on foot in a caravan. As a little child, he met Muhammad Ali Jinnah. And he became a very great scholar. In 1971, he was a medical doctor. In 1971, he went on a Hajj, came back, locked his clinic, and devoted himself completely for the work of Deen. And as I mentioned to you before, that subhanallah, how many people at this late age do you know were still doing something for the cause? And this is a point for us to ponder. A lot of times people say, we're of this and this age, or we're at this stage of our lives, and we can't do any more, and that's it, and this is at the end of it. No. As long as you're alive, you can contribute. You can do something. When I look at, for example, the American history, I see people who built America, and who were, built capitalism on its feet. I'm talking about Cornelius Vanderbilt, I'm talking about Andrew Carnegie, I'm talking about J.D. Rockefeller. These people worked right into their 90s. They went right into their 90s, or even past that age. They were still working very hard. Mother Teresa, for example, she decided to become a nun at 55. So the point is, we Muslims, we can never throw down the towel and say, that's enough, we don't need to do anymore. So long as we're alive, so long as Allah has given us opportunities, we need to do more and more. Inshallah, it's a beautiful lesson, I think, that he imparted to us even during his demise, his death, as he did during his life. And again, it's a loss. It's a loss to the ummah everywhere. But there's also hope, and the hope is, the Prophet ﷺ said, "Inna Allah yab'athu li hadhihi al-umma ala ra'si kulli miyat sana man yujaddidu laha dinaha." Every 100 years or so, at the helm of every 100 years, Allah will raise someone or some people who will revive His religion for this ummah. So again, there's always hope. We should never be despondent. Now, inshallah, we will begin with our today's lecture. It's a very important topic. Why did we choose this topic? Because this is not something that we hear a lot about from the members. Very important, very personal to us. What exactly is the soul? I want to ask a question. Has anybody heard of Mr. Christie, the cookie company? Everybody heard? Only one person? Well, you must have heard. 2, 3? Okay, good, good. Where am I going with this? Well, there's a building in U of T. U of T is in my neighbor, University of Toronto. And there's a building at the corner of Wellesley and Queen's Park. And that building used to be a nunnery. Nuns used to live there. And for years, and now it was finally taken over by U of T, and it's now called Regis College. What's interesting about it, with that building, was that it was once owned by a Scottish baker called William Mellis Christie. Okay, and as you probably know, he was the founder of Mr. Christie company that built cookies. Now that building had a terrible secret. The secret was, well, that William died in 1900s, and his son Robert took over that building. Okay, with his wife. He moved in that building with his wife. Now, this building, Robert was not quite all right. What he did one day was he trapped a person, a woman, in the very inner chambers of that building. This was a room that had absolutely no windows. And nobody knew about this kidnapping except Robert and, of course, his butler. These two people were the only ones that knew about this. Now what happened, it was a windowless room, and the woman was trapped inside, and eventually she went crazy. And ended up hanging herself with a bedsheet. So she committed suicide. Now the butler, in the middle of the night sometime, the butler went and took her body and buried her in the Queen's Park. If you have seen Queen's Park, you know that's where her body was buried. Now, after that, Robert got into some financial problems. He had to sell that building to U of T. That building was converted into a place of residence for nuns. Now what would happen is that the nuns complained that whenever they went into the room where that woman was supposedly, you know, committed suicide, they felt a very airy presence, a foreboding presence in that room. One nun was there. She was studying late at night, and she heard the door flung all by itself, and she was trapped in there for hours, and she could not get out of that room until somebody from outside just calmly opened the door. Apparently the door wasn't locked, but she just could not get out of that room. So there are many, many things that happen in that place. Now, of course, the U of T owns it, but they still say that if you go into that room, you feel the presence of the spirit of that woman in that room. This is one incident. It comes from a human experience. Then we have another experience. Now I'm going to rewind 1400 years back. Rasulullah ﷺ was traveling. Where was he traveling to? He was traveling to the north of Syria, in the area of Sham. Now in order to get to Sham from Hijaz, where Prophet ﷺ was, you have to go through this valley. This valley is called the Valley of Al-Hijr. Now this is mentioned in the Quran in Surah Al-Hijr, verse 80. What exactly happened when Rasulullah ﷺ with Ashab, he went through that valley? He told everyone something very interesting. He said to them while they were crossing, he said, because they saw in that valley, they saw ruins of an ancient nation. If you read the Quran, you will see that that valley belongs to that ancient community called Samud. And it was destroyed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in accordance with their actions. So once they approached the valley, Rasulullah ﷺ told the people, he said, "La tadkhulu ala haula'i al-qawm." Don't enter upon these people in these ruins, in this nation. Don't enter upon them. Illa an takunu bakin, except that you're in a state of crying. Don't enter them except that you're expressing grief. فَإِن لَمْ تَكُونُوا بَاكِينَ فَلَا تَدْخُلُوا عَلَيْهِمْ. And if you're not going to be crying, then don't enter, don't pass through this valley. أَنْ يُصِيبَكُمْ مِثْلَ مَا أَصَابَهُمْ. Lest what affected them will affect you.